It's time for the lore episodes. While Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is known for having an episodic structure, kind of like a Monster of the Week style Saturday morning cartoon, that doesn't mean there isn't an overarching plot. Quite the opposite, actually. Like what some other episodic shows do, DHMIS, both the YouTube series and the TV series, sprinkle in little details and moments relating to the main overarching plot that then gets more attention and development in the more plot-focused episodes later on. With the YouTube series, this became apparent with episode 4, where the red guy got tired of the uncontrollable nature of his life and found an exit. This led to the next 2 episodes being greatly impacted by that leave and showed how that impacted the yellow guy, the duck, the scenarios that would be brought down upon them, and Roy. The TV series followed a similar idea, having small lore beats here and there throughout the first 4 episodes until greatly developing the lore with the last 2 episodes. The first one to look at is episode 5, Transport. As we look through this, there's going to be a lot to dissect to reveal an extremely depressing reality for the trio. So buckle up, cause I'm gonna take you for a ride. I fucking hate this song, by the way. I know it's a classic, but Jesus Christ, it's annoying as hell. Biggest question of the episode. What was Yellow Guy reminiscing in the opening? I always thought he was talking about the previous episode with his brain friends, but a lot of people say he was actually foreshadowing the 6th episode.
I'm the one who had a dream where there was stuff like there was another me, and everything was lots of fun, and I went and saw the other ones, and there was a little lumpy one, and another whiny middle one, and there were things that they had around that I knew what they were, but I don't know now, and then it went away.
Episode 5 is another episode with an intentionally slow opening to show how bored the red guy is and how that prompts him to find a way to leave the house. A nice parallel to the YouTube series where red guy also wanted out and successfully escaped. This does raise the question of if the red guy found himself in a new predicament he seeks to leave, or if his previous escape really led him out or not. Red Guy's salvation is seemingly given to him with this episode's teacher. Kind of sus, don't you think? This old, barely working train guy. They sit through him talking about the history of transport devices until he seemingly dies as a car. Using his body without consent, the red guy takes him and the others on a drive to anywhere other than the house. Just as long as it's not Clay Hill because, you know, you can't visit lost media. Yeah, they had this GPS, but all it did was try to keep the trio from going anywhere where they potentially could be free and would direct them back to the house or to bad areas to give them a negative impression of anywhere else outside of the house. Another sus moment. But who cares because GPS go bye-bye and they continue on their own path. One fun musical number later, and we get back to what most of the remainder of this episode is. The trio sitting in a moving car and doing basically nothing. Yeah, the rest of this episode definitely lacks a lot of excitement until the very end, which is a pretty big flaw of this episode, even if making it uninteresting was done intentionally for the audience and the trio. Because, yeah, there isn't really much to do in a car, and making that seem boring to the trio would make them less likely to want to travel away from home again. Even so, the drive does contain some neat moments, like foreshadowing, the duck fiddling around with the driver's seat, and the duck and yellow guy getting different quality transport features. The duck gets the higher class experience with entertainment and snacks, while the yellow guy is stuck getting the low class treatment with nothing but a barf bag and an ashtray. With yellow guy bored, red guy gives him reassurance by saying they'll be able to find a new place to live, a new community, a new home. This sparks yellow guy's interest as he begins to imagine what living in a new community would look like. His stop-motion visualization at first seems peaceful and full of promise. Human Roy! But yellow guy in this sequence ends up running into the street and gets run over. pretty unfortunate that Yellow Guy at first saw this as a positive idea, just like Red Guy, but ended up seeing a devastating con to that idea. Something that would draw him away from seeking a new home and keep him tied to his old one. And notice how that con came from Yellow Guy imagining himself getting endangered by a car. The same type of vehicle they're in right now. The same vehicle that's actually the train guy. The same guy who randomly appeared when Red Guy expressed his desire to leave and didn't really give a good first impression. This episode didn't set out to give different messages, it set out to create more world building. With previous DHMIS knowledge, this starts out by showing how the trio are yet again in a situation they'd be better off away from, as evident by Red Guy's behavior in this episode. What happened in the YouTube series is happening again, or at least something similar. Interestingly enough, Red Guy was able to free himself before with little to no resistance, but this time, resistance is evident and everywhere. At first, it seems like the exact opposite, as potential salvation is just handed to the trio with the train guy. But the train guy is old and acts strangely as a way to make travel seem unappealing to the trio. Still, Red Guy persists. Then came the roads, which displayed boring repetition to reignite feelings of excitement towards the house. And then the GPS that made the only destination that seemed available and safe to be the house. You can even chalk up the unequal driving experiences of the three as another flaw in traveling away from home. And even when the Red Guy was trying to keep the others hopeful on new opportunities, there were seeds of doubt already planted in Yellow Guy's mind. The neighbors are creepy, their hospitality is undermined. The happy nature is thought to be a facade. To start more trouble, the car starts malfunctioning as Red Guy desperately tries whatever he can to keep them moving away from the house. They then somehow escape the looping background of the road and are left stranded in a new area. A real-life junkyard. Without any other means of transport or anywhere else to go, the trio are stuck here to experience a horrible scenario of what life away from the house could be like. They're out in the cold night, using the dead body of the train guy to make a fire. If he wasn't dead already, then they had to kill him themselves for their own survival. The trio is broken down. Red Guy failed and gave up. Yellow Guy, like a lost kid, asks where the neighbors are, still thinking this was supposed to happen and they have a chance of achieving what they set out to find. Red Guy tells him the neighbors will come, but it's obvious that he's only saying that to try and ease the Yellow Guy. It's actually super depressing. And to make matters worse, as Red Guy was afraid would happen again, they somehow managed to return home and continue their same formulaic life. The messages here weren't for us, the viewers, they were for the trio. Although the biggest messages are ones that we may have heard or experienced before in our own lives or in the lives of others. You can't escape. You have nowhere else to go. You will always be stuck here, and you will always depend on it. That's the reason why Red Guy is aware of some of the stranger elements at play and can go from seeking freedom to back living with the rest of his pals like nothing happened. He's constantly fighting to leave a toxic environment but can't find that exit.
Can't find the exit. Can't find the exit. Can't find the exit. Can't find the exit.
It's damaging his mental health and leaves him complacent until he musters up the motivation to make a new attempt to find salvation. But what kind of trap are they in? As we'll see in episode 6, they're trapped to be the toys, or the puppets, of their controllers. They're being used for someone else's agenda, maybe for someone else's entertainment or someone else's gain. Whose agenda and why can change based on interpretation, but I think the whole idea of these puppet characters being forced to be used like puppets was what this episode was hinting at. And no matter what they try, they will never find a way to transport themselves away to somewhere better for them. They can't find a way to cut their strings. Also, this happened.
Time child! I'm the time child! Hey guys, drink this space alcohol and come with me to the 6th dimension!
They're not here.
As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to do the typical YouTube stuff if you enjoyed this video. Like the video, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and if you want to support the channel and get some neat perks, consider clicking the join button and seeing how you can become a channel member today.